So let me tell you about my Bitcoin billionaire client. You know who you are. That guy sucked. I was selling this house on the west side one day. It was an 8,888 square foot house with a 3-story elevator, a panoramic view of the island, and it had an 8-car garage. It was sick. I get a call one day from, let's call him Marcus, and he's like, hey, my name is Marcus and I want to see the house. And I was like, oh, sure. And he goes, I'm a billionaire, by the way. And I was like, okay, first of all, who tells people that you're a billionaire, but like, whatever. I let him know that in order to show the property, I need proof of cash funds available so that way I can get you in. That's just how it works. An hour later, I receive an email with a Bank of Hawaii bank statement showing that there was $1.3 billion in his account. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of changes things. Let's set it up. I then proceed to take Marcus to the property to show it to him. What I noticed when he first showed up was my guy was wearing slippers, board shorts, and a t-shirt, and he was driving kind of like a beat up Chrysler 300. And at the time I thought to myself, the bank statement was good. My guy is super chill and he doesn't need to drive fancy things. He's down to earth. He's a down to earth billionaire. He says, Devin, I'd like to buy this property. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. So we write up an offer, we do the whole thing, the owner naturally accepts it, and Marcus gives me a check for $100,000 and I bring it to escrow and I deposit it. During this time though, Marcus has me, he says, Devin, I wanna buy another 400 properties on the island. Wow, okay, I can do that. And he sits down with me for the next week, going through every single different property he wants to see, all these different information. We're setting up showings. He tells me that he wants to buy a 200-acre lot on one of the neighboring islands for $25 million. I'm like going through all these steps with this guy, spending almost every day with him. Like, he is getting so much information, it's crazy. About a weekend, I just noticed that, like, the shoes didn't fit. The car he drove wasn't really like the car that a billionaire would drive, what I would assume one would drive. The way he communicated wasn't very well for somebody who claimed to own multiple businesses. I call escrow and I was like, hey, have you guys cashed that check yet? And they're like, oh, Devin, it's on the mainland, so it takes a little bit longer. We proceed to spend the next week and a half again looking at properties, doing the thing. So as I'm waiting for the escrow check to clear, I set up a helicopter tour to the neighboring island. We're going through all these things. But here's like the worst part. During this entire time, Marcus and my owner are meeting and become friends. And Marcus convinces the owner, against my advice, to start doing modifications to the house. These swinging Vulcan 7 garage doors and this extended deck and patio and these different sub refrigerator utility parts, whatever. The owner starts doing it. Pump the brakes, there's no cash in the escrow account yet. I know we gave a check and it's like, oh, it's all fine. I'm like, I know, but let's hold off. Finally, I call escrow, I was like, has the check cleared? Devin, we got a bounced check this morning. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. What do we do? Then I call Marcus. Marcus, the check bounced, what are we gonna do? Oh, no problem, Devin, I'll take care. It must be a mix up at my bank. First thing tomorrow, I'm gonna bring a check. I mean, why would the guy lie about it? That makes no sense at all. The next day comes, the next morning comes, no check. The next afternoon, no check in the evening. Multiple calls to Marcus, no answer, radio silence. For the next 2 days, I hear nothing back. And I call the owner. We have to make a decision. He's in the loop on what's going on. He's just as stressed as I am. We need to cancel this contract. We need to cut our losses. He was pissed. And we never heard back from Marcus. So we cut our losses, we found another buyer, we sold it to this amazing couple from Australia. But this is the best part. 2 months later, the house had already sold, we're all done with it. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a post. Somebody had gotten arrested for buying a Tesla with a fake check and then trying to resell the car. And guess who it was?